Hey guys, and welcome back to Midtown, USA. It is day 7, midsummer, and we are working here on our big canola field. This is field 13. This is one of the fields that we purchased over the springtime, and we've got decent yield out of this. I think we had gotten 3 stages of fertilization done on this, but of course it does still need plowing. We have, just to bring you up to speed, we finished harvesting field 17, and we also, yesterday, finished working that field to its entirety. So we cultivated the field, actually we started cultivating the field, as you remember, in day 5, last episode, and we fertilized the field, and then turned around and put our big bud on there, and seeded the field with sunflowers, or not sunflowers, but soybeans. So we are good to go with that field. Just another field down. So we are going to be working on this field today. And looking at the PDA, let's go ahead and look at that. We look at our fields here. Of course, we've got corn in 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, and 16. And then we have soybeans in field 14 and 17. We're also going to put soybeans in 13 and possibly 12, because now field 12 is also ready to harvest, as well as field 7. Field 5 came due to harvest, and we went ahead and got that done yesterday, just this little field. We've got a helper down there now plowing that field, so that we will have that in a plowed state. And remember, we're going to put poplar in there. Our poplar field in 6 is near final growth. I don't know if that's going to, when we're going to be able to chop that into wood chips, but that is coming very soon. And it looks like our 2 sunflower fields are going to be coming due fairly soon as well. So we have a decent amount going on here. And I would say we could very well be in a state of constant harvest from this point until the end of autumn. We've just got so many fields to harvest. So many fields are ready to harvest. And look at that. We got 3 days of consecutive rain coming up. In fact, we have 4 out of 7 days in our forecast with rain. It is a wet summer this year. So, you know, we are going to work all day today to try to get as much of this field harvested as we can. I have no doubt that there may be some of this field left to harvest tomorrow. So we will try to get this field harvested well, before the rain comes, but you know, if that doesn't work out, then we will have to wait for the crop to dry back out to finish it up. So we're just going to be in a constant state of harvest, and if we're not harvesting, it's probably because we've got a wet crop going on. So it's kind of where we are, and knowing that I don't necessarily want to be putting out 10 harvest videos. There's probably going to be some time that goes by where we're going to have some time, a significant amount of time possibly going between videos. It's going to go ahead and unload here. And we'll make a couple more passes. Alright. You can maybe see the money situation there. We did sell a load of compost. And now I'm thinking about it, maybe we had already sold that load of compost before our last video. I don't really remember at the top of my head at the moment. But like I said, we're going to have lots of harvest going on, and caring for our animals. And at some point we need to sell this crop. Oh my gosh, we have a 500,000 liters, over 500,000 liters of wheat. We've got, I think, 300,000 liters of barley. And we're going to start racking up the canola here. I don't think we're going to have near that much canola because we only have, what, 3 fields of canola. But we'll have a decent amount of canola once we get this in. We'll have a decent amount of sunflowers. And we will definitely have a lot of corn and a lot of soybeans. So by the end of autumn, we are going to have a massive amount of grain. The cornfield that's over here to our left, or over here to our right, it's slated for the BGA, or chaff, to go into the bunker. We could use a little bit of chaff, I think, down at our farm for the ferment silos. We're down to just under 200,000 liters of silage there. So, knowing that we have to feed, we're feeding about 11,000 liters of silage, no, about 22,000 liters of silage every 3 days. That is, what, 10 feedings. So that is 30 game days worth of silage, I think, and 15 game day seasons. That's 30 feedings, 10 feedings, right? Yeah, 30 game days. So we've got enough silage to theoretically last us all of autumn and all of winter, but we don't have the silage we need for spring. So we're going to need to bring some silage down there and put in our fermentation silos. So we obviously have to do that. And we need to assess our hay situation a little bit. We've got what, 55 bales off of that field in late spring. So I suspect possibly late summer we'll be able to do another cut of the grass there. So that's just something else to watch. So like I said, we're going to be extremely busy between now and the end of autumn. There's probably not going to be a point in time to really take a break there. And our truck driver there just does not know that there's a tree there, I guess. So he went and ran into it. Well, I'll have to take care of him. So let me be right back. So along those lines of basically constant harvest between now and autumn, it is definitely a change of pace between this play and the 24 days play over at Churn. If you're following both series, as you know, we basically lost all of our corn crop and our soybean crop on that map in our second year because we just didn't get the ground temperatures that we needed to get. And I have to say that is, you know, that's the Wales geo compared to the Midwest geo here as far as temperatures and everything. In fact, speaking of temperatures, you can look, it's 4 to 11 in the morning and we're at 84 degrees air temperature. The forecast was calling for 100 today, so we'll see if we get up there or not. See how hot it gets this afternoon. But those types of temperatures are few and far between in Wales, that is for sure. It's a much cooler environment than what we got here in the Midwest. Tomorrow is a fairly cool day, but it's rainy, 76. Saturday and Sunday, Sunday and Monday, we're mid-80s. Cool down a little bit, and then we get back up into the 80s again. So it's even a fairly cool summer at 80-some degrees during the days, whereas We'll have to see what late summer brings us. Well, I guess we see late summer right there, don't we? Days 11 through 14. Typically late summer is going to start to get awful hot. Let's get ready to make our turn. Swing on around. Dive on back in. So right now we're working on the short part of the field. You can see it's field takes 3 steps. Working on the short stage, and then there's another little jut, and then we have the long cut. Went ahead and switched out our plow that was working down there on field 5 for a cultivator, and it went ahead and fertilized the field down there. So once it's done cultivating, we're probably going to go ahead and hire out somebody to start putting in poplar while we're over here still working on this field. So that's kind of the plan of action. Let's just speed this up a little bit and see how much of this field we can hammer out in the next 3 to 4 minutes. So guys, as you can see, we have made it to 99 degrees. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so our forecast was fairly accurate with respect to that. We also have brought over our cultivator to work this field behind us, and he's cultivating a little faster than we are. I think he's working about I don't know, about 4 miles an hour quicker than we are, but we've got a head start, so hopefully our head start will be good enough to stay ahead of him. And to that fact, we also set up a guy down there helping plant poplar on field 5. So we're going to have to keep an eye on him. He's going to be calling some folks back at the main farm who are just tidying up and taking care of the animals. He's going to call them up if he needs more saplings. And there goes our second load of canola off to the silos. Like I said, we don't have the best yield out of this field's canola, but hopefully we'll get another 2 or 3 loads out of here. I'd like to be able to pull about 100,000 liters of canola off of this field, if possible. Guys, let me know. What have you thought about the videos? What do you think about the map and the series itself? I want to try to keep things fairly fresh and not too repetitive, but at the same time, it's hard to not keep things or not do repetitive actions, because there's only so much that you can do when you've got fields do we have now? When you've got 18 of the when you own 18 of the 19 fields, and the geo allows you to double crop, and basically we are attempting to double crop near every field that we own. We won't be double cropping the sunflowers, and we won't be double cropping the corn that we planted early, but we're pretty much double cropping every other field. So it's really hard to not reproduce things or not re-air things, simply because we're doing so much harvesting and so much planting and so much field work to turn these fields around. But hopefully I'm keeping it fresh and rotating things around and kind of focusing on different aspects each time. Like I said, but there's going to be some pretty big gaps as we come down to the wire, where we just are harvesting a heck of a bunch of stuff. Look at that, we've reached 100 degrees Fahrenheit air temp, 68 degree ground temp. That's when you see the dog go outside and just lay on the grass, the shade, and just lay there, because the ground is so much cooler than the air temperatures and everything. So another weird thing I noticed on this field. Now, we didn't plant this field. This is an AI planted field, but right up here there's a line that goes across the field where it's kind of a no man's land, where there isn't any crop, or whatever crop is there is withered. It's kind of interesting. Not sure if we'll see that when we turn this field around and put soybeans in it, if it's going to grow with that line across of it or not. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But we're coming up to that, so I'll point that out to you. You probably noticed it during the time lapse, the speed up. And I don't know where the truck is. Hopefully he's coming back here pretty quick. It was a fairly long drive, and I've got him doing a fairly long loop to get back here. So kind of hoping that he makes it back before we go and fill up. Right here's that line. See it right across, go running all the way across there. Kind of an interesting thing. I don't know if it's just the way the field was painted, and there was just a slight gap there where it wasn't you know, painted, or what, but we'll see. Let's see here. What we're going to do is we're going to stop here at the end of this row and wait for our truck to come around to empty us. Check, where is he at? Oh, looks like he's just pulling up. Let's go ahead. Looks like he's already on his way up here. So we'll be right back with you. So we are working still through the field. We are more than halfway, that's for sure. And we're just going to keep on working through the evening hours and see if we can't maybe hammer this thing out. I think we've gotten 4 loads of canola off here at this point. Just cut in front of me, man. We're going to have a talk with that driver about, 1, about driving through the field, and 2, about common courtesy to the big harvester, and let the big harvester come through first, then come in behind him, because that was uncalled for. You could really damage the head there by pulling out and trying to cut across real quick. That's for sure. So I was noticing something, and I want to point it out when we get back up to the other end of the field. That the campground's got a pretty cool, I don't think I saw it earlier, got a pretty cool campfire going on. I wanted to point that out. Maybe it kicks in after a certain time of day or something. But we're now in the waning hours of the day, 6 o'clock, almost 7 o'clock, and the temperatures are starting to drop a little bit, down to 95 degrees. I have to say, you know, it's a nice hot day when it's 7 or 8 o'clock at night and it's still like 80 something outside, and that looks like that might be what's going to happen today here. Off goes our truck. We did have to send our worker who's doing the cultivation, we did have to send them down to take a little dinner break because they were starting to get caught up to us. So once they get back from their dinner break, we should be well ahead of them. Just like any other farmer during harvest season, we really don't have a dinner break. They just have somebody toss us some sandwiches in the grain truck when it makes one of its trips back to the farm, and then we will you know, get those and just eat on them while we're here in the harvester. Keeping the harvester running, that's the most important thing. If the harvester's not running, then you can't, you're not making money, if you will. And all of this crop is to help offset the price of this field. This field was close to $1 million, if not over $1 million. So we're gonna need every bit of money off of this crop and probably the next crop to pay for this land acquisition. That is for sure. So in the coming days, I don't think we're going to do this on camera, but in the coming days we are going to harvest field 12 and field 7. So this video is going to basically document our canola harvest. So when we come back, field 7 and 12 should be done and should be planted into soybeans, hopefully. That means that we may be in late summer by the time we get back, and who knows what we're going to be doing. We may be, who knows, we may be harvesting soybeans. We may be back in the hay. We may be down there with the poplar. Poplar might be ready to come in. Hard to tell. But we also have a ton of grain to sell. We got a great demand for corn. Don't have any corn. We got a great demand for it. So hopefully they'll keep up their needs as we start to get corn in. But we'll definitely still need to keep eye on the corn, or on the grain demands on the prices, and might have an opportunity to fire up the straw production, the pellet production, or keep working on the BGA. So we're going to have ourselves several busy days ahead of us. That is guaranteed. So like I said, we're just going to hang out until we get up here, and I want to show you that. I encourage you to go check out the guys in my description. They are all 3 Dudes Media members. They all do really cool content. Simulation for the Nation does a cool series where he does a better understanding of, and you know, insert the name of some farm sim personality. He's got, I think, 4 series or 4 videos up so far of that series, and it's pretty interesting. It's kind of a multiplayer interview type of a deal. It's pretty interesting. He's also does some series on, I think, not Midtown, but West Coast and Oakfield. DoughBoy, he's had to work quite a bit, but he does helps me out with live streams on UMRV. He also does several live stream maps himself, and has a really cool role play series on UMRV that I hope he can get back to. He's just had a real tough time with work. Lots of busy work going on there. Eustace Pharmer, well, he doesn't need any other introduction. Eustace is Eustace, and if you've never watched any of his videos, you are definitely missing out. Then we've got my good friend Grizzly Bear Sims, who does also playing on this map. He's doing, I think, 9-day seasons. He's playing it a little bit different, and is doing a couple other video series. He's doing a series on Tazewell County. He's got access to a pre-release version of Tazewell County. I think our truck is, yep, he's coming over here, so let's just hop out while we wait on our truck. Come down here and check out this fire that I saw going up here while I was harvesting earlier. It's all the smoke, and wanted to come down and check it out. I think maybe we've seen this already. I forget. I don't know if this flames up at night. It'd be cool if it turned into flames at night. I have to remember to come check that out one day when it's one evening when nightfall, to see if it does turn into a flame. All right. So with that said, I'll see you guys later. Till next time. Happy farming.